The desert was silent when the sky suddenly tore open. A bright blue light rushed downward like a falling star, but it was too fast and too heavy to be a star. It hit the ground with a deep shaking sound that rolled across the empty land. Animals ran, sand flew into the air, and for a few seconds, it felt like the earth itself had stopped moving. Far away, military sensors picked up the impact. Within minutes, black helicopters were in the air, flying toward the strange crash site. When the soldiers arrived, they saw something impossible. A massive object, half buried in the sand, was glowing faintly. The metal was nothing like human metal. It looked smooth, dark, and alive. Every few seconds, a thin line of light moved across its surface like a heartbeat. The soldiers pointed their guns, not sure if something would come out. But nothing moved. No smoke. No fire. Just that cold, alien glow stretching across the broken desert floor. A group of scientists arrived soon after. They walked slowly, afraid to get too close, but unable to stop staring. One of them touched the metal, and the glowing lines instantly shifted direction, following the movement of his hand. Everyone froze. The metal felt warm, almost like skin. A feeling of fear and curiosity rose inside every person standing there. They all understood the same thing but said nothing. This ship was not dead. They opened a small crack on the side of the ship, just large enough for one person to step through. Inside, the air was cold and heavy. Strange symbols moved across the walls like floating water. The lights inside the ship pulsed in a slow rhythm, almost like breathing. The scientists whispered to each other, trying to understand what they were seeing. One of them pointed at deep scratches on the floor. Something had been dragged. Something heavy. Something resisting. But there were no bodies, no bones, and no signs of crew. The ship felt empty, yet it also felt aware. Every sound the humans made echoed back in a way that did not feel natural. The ship seemed to be listening. One scientist noticed a dark chamber in the center. A strange round device floated a few inches above the ground, spinning slowly. As they stepped closer, the device suddenly became brighter. It reacted to their presence, glowing with a fast and excited pulse. Everyone stepped back in fear. Outside, the military commander called the government. His voice was tight and uneasy. This was not a meteor, and not a secret aircraft. This was something far more important. The area was immediately closed. All communications were cut. Every person present signed a severe secrecy order. The ship would be taken to an underground facility, far from public eyes. They worked through the night, using giant machines and metal supports, trying to lift something that did not want to be moved. The alien metal kept changing weight, almost like it was resisting. But the humans still forced it out of the sand. When the ship was finally inside the base, scientists began their deeper study. They discovered that almost every part of the ship was still active. Some parts opened on their own when touched. Some stayed silent, locked by codes no human could read. Inside the ship, a strange sound began to echo, like a slow hum traveling through every wall. Each hour, the hum grew louder. It did not sound random. It sounded like a signal. A call. As if the ship was trying to speak to something far away. One scientist stayed inside late at night, watching the moving alien symbols. Suddenly, the lights inside the ship shifted from soft blue to sharp red. The walls shook lightly. A part of the ceiling opened, revealing a small glowing sphere. The sphere floated toward the scientist, scanning him. He froze, heart pounding, unable to run. The light passed over his eyes, then his chest, then his hands. After a few seconds, the sphere returned to the ceiling and disappeared. The red lights faded. The ship returned to calm blue again. The scientist ran out, breathless. He said the ship was trying to measure humans, trying to understand who they were. The military did not believe him at first. But when they checked the ship's energy patterns, they found something terrifying. Since arriving at the base, the ship's power levels were rising on their own. Whatever controlled it was waking up. Days passed. Engineers tried to cut a piece of alien metal, but no tool could make even a tiny scratch. They tried burning it, freezing it, and hitting it with high-pressure lasers. Nothing worked. The metal was stronger than anything humans had ever seen. It was not natural. It was designed by something far more advanced. The ship also had a strange gravitational pull. Sometimes, small objects floated near it. Other times, the ship became heavier, bending the metal floor beneath it. One night, a young soldier standing guard heard a voice inside his head. It was not speaking in words. It was more like feelings. Fear, anger, escape. He stepped back, shaking, and dropped his weapon. When other guards rushed to help, they only heard silence. But he insisted the ship was talking to him. News spread inside the facility. People grew nervous. No one knew if the ship was dangerous or if something would come out of it. And yet, no one wanted to destroy it. This ship could change everything humans knew about life in the universe. It could be a key to new worlds, new weapons, new power. But deep inside its core, something else was awakening. The pulse of the ship grew faster, louder, like a heartbeat preparing for something. No one understood the truth. The ship was not just a visitor. It was a warning. And Earth had already touched something it was never meant to find. The ship stayed in the underground base, humming quietly, but humans could feel it watching them. Scientists worked day and night. Every attempt to understand the ship brought more questions. The walls seemed alive. Sometimes, a panel would open suddenly and then close, leaving a small piece of alien technology inside. None of it worked like human machines. Every device was strange, glowing, and moving in ways that did not make sense. Dr. Elena Moreno, the lead scientist, was the first to notice that the ship reacted to thought. She placed her hand near a floating console. The symbols on the walls shifted and rearranged themselves into patterns she could almost read. Her heart raced. "It is learning us," she whispered. "It is listening." The military was impatient. They wanted results. They wanted weapons. They wanted control. They ordered the scientists to focus on reverse engineering the ship, even though no one fully understood how it worked. Engineers tried to dismantle the alien core, but the moment anyone touched it, the ship shook. Lights flashed. The energy inside it jumped violently, as if warning them. Yet, humans were stubborn. They had faced challenges before, but this was unlike anything. One night, a small team managed to activate part of the ship's navigation system. The ship projected a three-dimensional map of stars, planets, and strange alien markers that seemed alive. Every marker pulsed with a soft glow. The scientists stared in disbelief. Some of the stars did not exist in any human records. Others had orbiting planets that looked like perfect homes for life. But a few markers were different. They were dark, jagged, and radiating energy that humans had never measured. The military commander looked at the map and smiled coldly. "With this," he said, "we can go anywhere, conquer anything." His words caused unease among the scientists. They had not come to explore or conquer. They had come to study. But the humans in power did not care. They saw the alien ship as a weapon, a tool for human dominance. Meanwhile, the ship seemed to grow more aware. A low hum vibrated through the base at random hours. Sometimes, engineers reported that the ship moved slightly on its own, even when secured. A young technician claimed he saw the alien symbols form letters he could understand for a moment. "Do not touch. They are coming." No one believed him. He was dismissed as seeing things in the dark. But later, small groups reported hearing strange whispers, like wind inside the walls, warning them. Despite this, humans continued their experiments. They connected alien power cores to Earth machines. Lights burned brighter, energy weapons hummed with potential, and tanks floated slightly above the ground. Humans had created their first hybrid weapon system. They called it Project Starfist. At first, the weapons were unstable. But with each test, they grew stronger. Energy beams could cut through steel. Shields made humans untouchable for a short time. The alien ship seemed to approve, or at least did not stop them. One morning, Dr. Moreno noticed something unusual. The alien core pulsed in a slow rhythm. When she approached, it accelerated and then stopped as she stepped back. The ship's energy field began responding to humans like a living being. It could sense fear, curiosity, and aggression. The base staff became nervous. They had never touched something that seemed alive in this way. The ship was not just a machine, it was something else, something aware, something waiting. The first weapons test outside the base was shocking. A giant energy beam shot from a hybrid tank into a mountain. Rocks exploded, trees burned, and the sky lit with bright light. The military cheered. Humans had never seen such destructive power. But some scientists felt fear. Dr. Moreno warned, "This is not ours to control. It will fight back if it chooses." The military ignored her warnings. They began building a fleet of hybrid ships, combining human skill and alien technology. Every ship had the pulse of the alien energy inside. Every weapon drew power from the same mysterious core that had crashed in the desert. Humans had never felt more powerful. They believed they were ready to conquer the stars. At night, the ship pulsed faster than normal. A small group of guards claimed they heard mechanical whispers. Sometimes, the walls seemed to breathe, rising and falling like lungs. But no one could prove it. Humans were too focused on power, too blinded by ambition to notice that the ship was watching, learning, preparing. One evening, the core suddenly projected a hologram of an alien world. The world was broken, burning, and lifeless. Red lines shot across it like lightning. Symbols appeared above the planet, warning of a danger too big for humans to imagine. Scientists were stunned. "This ship, it is not just a weapon," Dr. Moreno said. "It carries a history, a warning. Something followed it here." The military laughed at the warning. History was nothing compared to power. But inside the ship, the energy core pulsed faster and stronger. It was ready. It had learned human patterns, strengths, weaknesses, and ambitions. Something had sent it into the universe to escape. Now, it had found humans. Humans celebrated their progress. They were about to test the first real alien weapon in space. But deep inside the alien ship, something stirred. It was no longer just watching. It was waiting. Waiting for the right moment to act. And in the cold, dark silence of the underground base, the ship's hum grew louder, stronger, almost like a heartbeat preparing for war. Humans thought they were in control. They were wrong. The ship was not theirs. And something out there in the stars had noticed. The first test outside the base was a day that no one on Earth would forget. Scientists and soldiers gathered on a flat plateau far from the desert. The hybrid ship stood ready, black and glowing, with human engineers connecting wires and adjusting alien panels. Energy hummed in the air, thick and buzzing. The humans had never seen power like this before. The ship's core pulsed steadily, almost as if it was calm, waiting for them to act. Commander Rourke gave the signal. Fire. A beam of bright, white light shot from the ship into the empty valley. The ground shook violently. Rocks exploded, sand flew high into the air, and a deep echo rolled across the mountains. The humans cheered. Soldiers jumped, guns raised, their faces lit with excitement. This was more than a weapon. It was a force unlike anything humanity had ever created. Dr. Elena Moreno frowned. She studied the energy readings. The beam was not just powerful. It seemed alive. Every pulse changed with the thoughts of the humans controlling it. It could sense fear, it could sense aggression. And most terrifying of all, it could react. She whispered to herself, "This isn't ours to control. We are only borrowing its power." But the military ignored her. They saw only opportunity. Within weeks, Earth had constructed a fleet of hybrid ships. Each one carried weapons powered by the alien core. Each one could float, move faster than any human aircraft, and fire beams that destroyed everything in their path. The skies over the test fields were filled with energy and noise, lights flashing like lightning storms. The first mission beyond Earth's orbit was simple but dangerous. A nearby asteroid field had been surveyed, and reports suggested it was rich with rare minerals. The human ships entered the field, their alien weapons ready. No one expected resistance. But when the sensors picked up something moving, everyone froze. Small ships, fast and strange, emerged from the rocks. They were alien in design, not like anything humans had built. The humans fired first. Energy beams cut through the rocks and the alien ships with terrifying precision. Within minutes, the asteroid field was silent again, the strange ships destroyed. The commanders cheered, believing humans were unstoppable. They had learned quickly. They had mastered the alien technology, at least in part. They were no longer just Earthlings, they were conquerors. But the alien ship at the heart of their fleet pulsed faster than usual. It reacted to the human actions. It had learned that humans could fight, that humans could destroy, and that humans were capable of ambition, greed, and aggression. Every pulse was stronger, sharper. It was alive in ways the humans did not understand. Meanwhile, Dr. Moreno continued studying the alien memory cores. One night, alone in the lab, she discovered fragments of data from the original crew. The alien ship had not been a weapon by choice. It had been a vessel of escape. It had carried a race fleeing from a great enemy. That enemy destroyed worlds, leaving nothing but death and fire. The ship had survived because it had hidden itself in the universe. Her discovery alarmed her. She warned the military, but her words were brushed aside. "This is history, not present," Commander Rourke said. "Our mission is power. Our mission is conquest." The scientists were powerless to stop the human thirst for dominance. As the fleet continued its expansion, they discovered abandoned alien colonies on nearby moons. Strange ruins, perfectly preserved, held warning signs. Some markings suggested peaceful civilizations once lived there. Others showed destruction, burned and shattered. But humans saw only opportunity. Weapons were deployed. Colonies were claimed. Humans were becoming a power feared across the stars. The ship pulsed more frequently. Symbols on its walls moved in patterns the humans could barely understand. The core glowed brighter when aggression was high. It had absorbed their emotions. It knew that humans were capable of destruction beyond comprehension. But it remained dormant, waiting, calculating. One day, a young engineer accidentally touched a floating panel inside the ship. The ship reacted violently. Red sparks flew. Alarms screamed. The beam weapons outside the base activated on their own, cutting a nearby hill into pieces. Soldiers scrambled, trying to shut the systems down. The ship, alive and aware, had almost attacked without warning. That night, Dr. Moreno warned again, "It can turn on us at any moment. We are not in control. We are borrowing power that does not belong to us." But humans were too eager, too ambitious. The alien ship had become a tool of power, a symbol of Earth's dominance. Humans believed they were ready for the universe. They did not understand that the ship had its own mind. It had survived wars far beyond human imagination. And it had carried secrets that humans were only beginning to uncover. The first small, alien fleet humans destroyed had a warning in its technology. Symbols etched on the hull flashed messages before being destroyed: "Do not awaken the hunters." Humans did not understand. They did not stop. They were too proud, too aggressive, too confident. And so, humans pushed further. More worlds, more weapons, more fleets. The pulse of the ship grew stronger, faster, like the heartbeat of a living creature preparing for something unimaginable. In every dark corner of the universe, something waited. Something that had chased the original alien ship. Something that was now aware that humans had taken the power of their prey. Earth celebrated its victories. Humans thought they were masters of the stars. But in the cold silence of space, far beyond their sensors, a shadow moved. Something massive, deadly, and intelligent was on its way. And the alien ship, at the heart of human power, pulsed in warning, its glow reaching into the souls of those who had awakened it. Humans had conquered a small part of the universe. But the real war, the war they had unknowingly invited, was only beginning. Earth's fleet moved faster than ever. Hybrid ships, powered by the alien core, cut through space like blades of light. Humans had become explorers and conquerors at the same time. They claimed moons, small planets, and abandoned colonies without hesitation. Every world they touched, they reshaped. Every technology they found, they tried to adapt. And all the while, the alien ship at the center of their fleet pulsed with life, sensing their ambition, their greed, and their growing hunger for power. The first signs of other life were strange and quiet. Sensors picked up abandoned bases, ships drifting in orbit, and ruins that told stories of civilizations that had once thrived. Humans did not stop to wonder why they were empty. They only saw opportunity. Resources, power, control, Commander Rourke said, smiling as the fleet descended onto a ruined colony. Soldiers deployed quickly, marking the land with human flags. Dr. Moreno studied the alien memory cores day and night. She began noticing patterns. Many of the abandoned colonies had warnings etched into stone or metal, written in symbols only partially decoded by the ship. Some messages were clear: do not linger. Do not awaken them. Others were vague but ominous: they watch. They come. She tried to warn the commanders, but her voice was drowned by the excitement of conquest. Humans were intoxicated with their new power. They felt unstoppable. They believed they were writing a new chapter in the history of the universe. The fleet reached a small moon orbiting a gas giant. It was covered in ruins, alien cities half buried in ash and rock. Strange energy signatures flickered beneath the surface. The humans assumed the technology was dormant and valuable. They began mining and scavenging. The alien ship pulsed faster, sensing the humans' greed. Lights flashed across its walls as if it were warning them, but humans were too focused on the resources. Then came the first real shock. Deep beneath the moon's surface, sensors picked up movement. Something massive, yet dormant, stirred. The humans on the surface laughed. They thought it was a natural phenomenon, a reaction to the mining equipment. But Dr. Moreno did not laugh. She felt a cold fear grip her chest. "They are here," she whispered, staring at the flickering energy patterns. "Something is awake." Humans ignored her warning. They continued mining, building, and claiming. The alien ship's pulsing grew erratic. The symbols on its walls shifted violently. For the first time, it seemed angry. A beam of energy shot from one of the human hybrid ships accidentally, cutting a canyon in the moon. Engineers scrambled. The fleet commander ordered all systems to stand down, but the alien ship pulsed again, faster and brighter, as if reacting to the humans' carelessness. Then, from the shadows of space, sensors picked up a fleet unlike any human ship. The shapes were huge, dark, and sharp, moving silently through the void. They did not communicate. They did not hesitate. They simply approached. The humans had no record of such a fleet. Panic spread through the command centers. Commander Rourke barked orders, activating weapons and defensive shields, but fear had already taken hold. The alien ship pulsed violently, lights flickering red and white. It projected holographic warnings that only Dr. Moreno could partially understand. Images of destruction, fire across planets, fleets obliterated, cities flattened. It was a warning of what was coming. The humans did not fully understand. They only prepared to fight. The first contact was terrifying. One of the dark ships unleashed a pulse of energy that disabled a human hybrid vessel instantly. It was not a weapon humans had ever seen. It was intelligent. It targeted systems, scanned weaknesses, and struck with deadly precision. Human soldiers were thrown back, alarms screamed, and the fleet realized too late that they were not facing a primitive race. Commander Rourke gritted his teeth. "Attack!" he shouted. Energy beams fired from all hybrid ships. For a moment, it seemed like humans could hold their ground. But the alien fleet adapted. It moved faster than human ships, struck harder, and avoided the beams. Panic and confusion spread. Dr. Moreno tried to reach the core of the alien ship, hoping to use it defensively. The core pulsed violently, almost alive, as if deciding whether to help or punish the humans. Symbols flashed, forming phrases she barely understood. You were warned. You were not ready. Humans were learning the harsh truth. Their expansion, their ambition, their hunger for power, it had drawn attention. The same force that had destroyed countless worlds and chased the original alien ship was now here. The humans had thought themselves masters of the stars. They were not even noticed yet. The first battle ended with heavy losses. A few hybrid ships survived, retreating back to safer orbit. The humans were shaken, but not defeated. Commander Rourke's voice was cold and sharp. We adapt. We fight. We take what is ours. The humans began preparing new weapons, more aggressive strategies, faster ships. The alien core hummed, its pulse slow but watchful, as if waiting to see if humans could survive the trial. Dr. Moreno looked at the stars, her face pale. This is bigger than us, she said quietly. We are not just fighting another race. We are fighting a force older, stronger, and smarter than anything we can imagine. And it will not stop until it has what it came for. The humans thought they were ready to conquer. But the cosmos had other plans. The real enemy had arrived, silent, intelligent, and unstoppable. And the alien ship at the heart of human power pulsed faster than ever, its lights reaching into the hearts of everyone who had awakened it, warning them that the true war was only beginning. The fleet returned to Earth orbit, battered and bruised. The humans had fought the dark alien ships and survived, but barely. The hybrid vessels had sustained heavy damage. Many soldiers had died. Commander Rourke refused to show fear, but even he could not hide the tension in the command center. The humans were powerful, yes, but the universe was proving that power alone was not enough. Dr. Elena Moreno spent hours inside the alien ship. She could feel the pulse of its core in her chest, as if the ship itself was alive and aware of the humans' failures. She had discovered fragments of the ship's memory long ago, but now she began decoding more, deeper data. The alien ship had not been a weapon by choice. It had been a vessel of escape, carrying a civilization fleeing from a deadly enemy. The enemy was not just powerful. It was relentless. Entire worlds had been destroyed, civilizations erased without a trace. The ship's memory showed burning cities, blackened skies, and fleets annihilated in seconds. The images were horrifying, but they also carried a warning. The alien ship had hidden itself, traveling across galaxies to avoid capture. And now it was on Earth. Humans had unknowingly taken the ship's power, using it as a weapon. Dr. Moreno tried to warn Commander Rourke and the military council. This ship was not designed to be used by us, she said. It carries a warning. The enemy is still out there, and they will not ignore what we have done. Rourke scoffed. Warnings are for the weak. We are not weak. We survived. We have weapons. We have fleets. Nothing can stop us now. Moreno shook her head. You don't understand. This enemy does not fight like us. They do not negotiate. They do not fear. They erase. They consume. They hunt. And they will come for us. And for this ship. But humans were already planning their next expansion. They had tasted power and victory, and nothing would stop them. The alien fleet outside had taught them a lesson in caution, but humans never learned slowly. They had hybrid ships, weapons of energy beyond imagination, and the alien core at their disposal. They believed that made them ready. Moreno continued studying the ship, hoping to understand its true purpose. She discovered that the ship had contained prisoners, creatures of incredible intelligence and power, restrained by the alien civilization. The vessel itself was a prison, a mobile fortress designed to survive pursuit. Its technology, its power, and even its AI-like core had been meant to protect, to hide, and to warn. The humans had awakened it. As the fleet prepared for another offensive into nearby star systems, Moreno projected the images of destruction to the military council. Holograms of shattered worlds filled the room. Entire cities were gone, fleets turned to dust in seconds, and the faces of alien species appeared, frozen in terror. "This is what happens when they catch you," Moreno said, her voice trembling slightly. "This is what they do to anyone who crosses them." The council remained silent. Some soldiers shivered. Some engineers whispered prayers. But Rourke's face was hard. "We are not running," he said. "We are advancing. We will not stop until we have claimed what is ours." Moreno looked at the ship's core, watching it pulse slowly. It seemed to respond to human emotion. Anger, fear, ambition, it absorbed them all. And she realized something terrifying. The ship was not neutral. It was alive. It understood humans. It had measured them. And it had made a choice, to continue helping, or to punish. That night, Moreno stayed alone in the lab. She placed her hand on the core. The lights flashed faster than ever. Symbols danced across the walls, forming phrases she could almost read. "You were warned. You were never ready. They are coming." She pulled back in fear. The warning was clear, and the realization hit her like a hammer. Humans had no idea what they were facing. Meanwhile, reports arrived from the frontier of human expansion. Hybrid ships exploring new star systems detected strange energy patterns. Planets that should have been empty were suddenly silent. Structures moved, shields activated, and something seemed to be watching. Humans brushed it off as natural defenses, but Moreno recognized the signs. The enemy was preparing. They had noticed the humans' power. And they were coming. Rourke, meanwhile, ordered more weapons to be built, more ships to be armed, more colonies to be claimed. Humans were confident, but they were blind. They had conquered some worlds, but they had awakened a force beyond their comprehension. Moreno's warnings grew louder. She tried to convince the scientists to prepare defenses rather than expansion. Some listened. Many did not. The ship's pulse accelerated with every human act of aggression. It was alive, waiting, and learning. And somewhere, far beyond the edge of human sensors, a shadow moved. The hunters were awakening. The enemy that had chased the original alien ship across galaxies had not forgotten. Their fleets were enormous, their power unimaginable, and their intelligence deadly. They were heading toward Earth. Humans had gained incredible power, yes. They had weapons that could destroy worlds. They had conquered moons, mined stars, and claimed alien technology. But they had made one fatal mistake. They had not prepared for what hunted the alien ship. The universe had a balance, and humans had just tipped the scales. The alien ship pulsed violently, a living heartbeat echoing warnings through the facility. Dr. Moreno looked at it and whispered, almost to herself, "We are not the hunters. We are the prey." For the first time, humanity realized that their greatest victory could become their greatest failure. Earth had changed. The humans who once lived under their blue sky were now masters of new stars. Hybrid ships filled orbit, powered by the alien core. Weapons hummed with energy that could destroy mountains and crush entire cities. Humans had tasted power, and they wanted more. Expansion became obsession. Fear of the enemy existed, but it was quiet, hidden behind pride and ambition. Commander Rourke saw only opportunity. "We will conquer before they arrive," he said. "We cannot wait." The first human colonies in distant star systems were brutal. Small alien worlds were claimed, stripped of resources, and reshaped for human needs. Energy beams fired at anything that resisted. Entire populations of alien survivors either fled or joined humans out of fear. The galaxy had begun to know the name of Earth, and humans reveled in it. They were unstoppable, or so they believed. Dr. Moreno watched with growing dread. She had warned humans repeatedly about the approaching enemy, but few listened. Engineers and soldiers focused only on weapons and fleets. The alien ship at the center of the operation pulsed faster than ever, responding to human aggression. Its lights flashed red, then white, then blue, as if pleading for restraint or preparing to act. One colony had an ancient defense system hidden beneath its surface. When humans mined and built, alarms went off, strange weapons activated automatically. Humans were attacked for the first time, not by the approaching enemy, but by automated systems left behind by the alien civilizations. Soldiers panicked. Hybrid weapons fired back, cutting through cities and fields in seconds. Commander Rourke ordered the destruction of everything. "We will not be stopped by old machines," he shouted. Dr. Moreno tried to intervene. She placed her hand on the alien core. The symbols on the walls shifted violently. Images flashed in her mind: massive fleets, entire worlds burning, cities obliterated, and alien civilizations annihilated. The ship's warning was clear: humans were repeating history. They were walking straight into the path of the hunters. But humans did not stop. Every victory fueled more ambition. They built fleets faster than ever, combining alien technology with human ingenuity. Hybrid ships became war machines capable of destroying entire moons. Humans believed their weapons could challenge anything, even the unknown enemy lurking in the darkness of space. Then came the first direct contact with the enemy scouts. Small, advanced ships appeared at the edge of human-controlled space. They did not attack immediately. They watched. They scanned. They measured human capabilities. Humans fired first, energy beams cutting through asteroid belts and empty space. But the enemy ships reacted instantly, dodging, analyzing, and countering. A few humans were lost. Many were terrified. It was a warning, a taste of what was to come. Rourke refused to retreat. "We strike first, we strike hard. Fear is weakness," he said. "Prepare the fleets. Conquer more. Show them that humans are not to be challenged." The alien ship's core pulsed faster, lights flashing violently, almost violently alive. Dr. Moreno felt it through the floor, through the walls, through the air. It was alive. It understood humans. It could sense their pride, their aggression, their mistakes. And it waited, ready to act if needed. Humans continued their expansion. Colonies were taken by force. Alien species either fled, surrendered, or joined humans for protection. Whole systems were mapped and claimed. Hybrid weapons were deployed on moons and planets, creating fortresses capable of withstanding any attack. Humans had become the hunters, or so they believed. But in the darkness of deep space, beyond the edge of their sensors, the real enemy moved closer. Massive ships, black and jagged, flowed through the void. Their weapons were not only powerful, they were intelligent, adaptive, and precise. The universe had not forgotten. It had waited patiently, letting humans grow arrogant. And now, the hunters had arrived. Dr. Moreno watched the alien core, feeling its pulse against her chest. Symbols flashed in a language she almost understood. "You are not ready. You cannot win. Prepare for the reckoning." She tried to warn the fleet commanders again. "This is bigger than anything you know. You are not the strongest. You are not the hunters. You are the prey." But the humans were deafened by power and pride. Every attack, every conquest, every new colony made them bolder. They prepared new fleets, armed new weapons, and reinforced defenses. They believed humans were unstoppable, untouchable, and supreme. And yet, the pulse of the alien ship grew faster, brighter, stronger, warning that the hunters were near. The ship had survived countless wars across galaxies. It had been a prison, a hiding vessel, a warning. And now, it had humans. It had given them power, but it had also awakened the attention of a force they could not fight alone. The fleets moved, the colonies expanded, the energy beams fired, and the galaxy trembled at the rise of humanity. But in the shadow of distant stars, something waited, calculating, observing, and preparing to strike. Humans believed they had conquered the cosmos. But the true enemy was already watching, and waiting for the right moment to reclaim what had been disturbed. The real war was no longer a threat. It had arrived. The humans felt unstoppable. Their fleets stretched across star systems. Hybrid ships hummed with alien power. Weapons fired beams of pure energy that could erase mountains in seconds. Earth had become a rising empire, feared across nearby galaxies. Commander Rourke stood in the control room of the flagship, eyes sharp, voice steady. "We strike first, we take what is ours, and we do not hesitate. Nothing will stop us." Dr. Elena Moreno watched silently, heart heavy. She knew the truth. The alien ship at the center of their fleet pulsed violently, almost alive, warning them of the danger that had been building for decades. Its core glowed brighter than ever, sending waves of energy through the walls of the command room. Symbols danced on the screens, flashing messages she barely understood. "They have come. You are not ready. You are prey." No one believed her. Humans had tasted power, and pride blinded them. They prepared new fleets, new colonies, and more weapons. Every victory made them bolder. Every conquest made them more confident. They believed the cosmos was theirs to take. Then the sensors screamed. Massive ships, larger than any human fleet, appeared at the edge of controlled space. Their black hulls were jagged, sleek, and radiating energy that humans had never measured. The enemy had arrived. Entire star systems seemed to tremble as the alien ships moved forward. They did not communicate. They did not hesitate. They simply advanced. Commander Rourke barked orders. "Engage. Fire everything." Hybrid ships launched, energy beams slicing through the void. But the enemy ships moved like shadows, dodging, countering, and striking with precision. Entire human vessels were destroyed in seconds. Panic and chaos spread through the fleet. Soldiers screamed over comms, alarms blared, and the mighty human empire began to understand fear. The alien ship pulsed violently. Its lights flashed red and white, faster and faster. Dr. Moreno placed her hand on the core. She felt a cold, living intelligence in the pulse. The ship had measured humans, learned from their aggression, and now it was warning them. She whispered, "This is what happens when you take power without understanding. We are not ready. We cannot fight them alone." The enemy fleet unleashed a massive wave of energy. Shields were torn apart. Weapons melted. Stars themselves seemed to tremble. Humans had never faced anything like this. Entire colonies went dark. The hybrid fleet scattered in retreat. For the first time, humanity understood the scale of the danger they had awakened. Commander Rourke refused to admit defeat. "We will fight. We will adapt," he shouted, but even he knew, deep down, that this enemy was beyond human strength. It was not just a fleet. It was an intelligence, a force that had destroyed countless civilizations across galaxies. And now, Earth had called its attention. Dr. Moreno looked at the alien ship's core. The pulsing light grew faster, brighter, as if preparing for war. Symbols flashed across walls. "You have awakened them. The reckoning begins." The ship had given humans power, yes, but it had also warned them. And now, there was no time left. The enemy fleet advanced closer, black silhouettes against the stars. Energy pulses filled space, turning it into a storm of destruction. Humans fired desperately, but their weapons barely scratched the surface. Panic spread like wildfire. The colonies that had celebrated human conquest fell silent. Entire worlds were at risk. In the flagship, Dr. Moreno grabbed a communicator. "Commander, listen to me. We cannot fight them with power alone. The ship, it knows the way. It can protect us, but only if we follow its guidance." Rourke hesitated. Pride warred with fear. He had led humanity to the stars, but now the stars were dark, and a force far older and stronger had arrived to judge them. The alien ship pulsed violently once more, sending waves of light through every human fleet. It projected a vision across the void, Countless worlds destroyed, fleets annihilated, civilizations erased. Then it showed a small chance of survival, a path humans could follow, if they trusted the ship. But the enemy ships were too close. Their massive shadow loomed across the fleet. Energy pulses cut through hybrid ships, and the flagship shook violently. Humans scrambled to respond. The cosmos seemed to hold its breath. And then, the pulse of the alien ship aligned with the humans' core fleets. Light exploded outward, a signal and a warning at the same time. The enemy stopped, just for a moment, but that moment was enough to show humanity the true scale of what they faced. The stars were quiet again. Too quiet. Dr. Moreno whispered to herself. The real war has begun, and we are not ready. The camera of the flagship's observatory caught a final image before the screen went black. The enemy fleet, infinite and black, moving closer. Behind them, the alien ship's light pulsed, alive and watching. Humanity had awakened something it could never control. The conquest had begun. But now, the hunters had arrived. The screen cut to darkness. And the universe waited.